Ciao a tutti. Today we are going to learn how to talk about family using possessive adjectives and pronouns. As you have already learned, in Italian when you want to say my, your, our, and so on, you normally pair the possessive adjective with a definite article, such as il, la, i. So, for example, la tua casa, your house, il mio libro, my book, i nostri amici, our friends. So the article is part of the possessive. But when you're talking about singular family members, Italian usually skip the article. So instead of saying il mio padre, you will say mio padre. The same goes for mia sorella, my sister, mio zio, and so on. It is as if the Italian language gives family a special VIP pass. By dropping the article, it creates a feeling of closeness and affection. However, when you're talking about more than one family member, the article comes back. For example, I miei fratelli, my brothers. So you use the article when you use the plural brothers. But if you say my brother, it would be mio fratello. Same thing. Le mie zie, my aunts, plural. I nostri cugini, our cousins, plural. But if you go back to the singular form, it would be mia zia, my aunt, nostro cugino, our cousin, without the article. Of course, there are exceptions, so sometimes the article comes back. Let's see those exceptions. When you add an adjective to describe your family member, the article returns. You say, for example, la mia piccola sorella, my little sister. So if you add piccola, you must use the article. Same with il mio caro zio, my dear uncle. So piccola, caro, gentile, intelligente, simpatico. So when you describe, when you add an adjective, the article returns. There is another case when the article must be used, and this is when Italian use affectionate suffixes. So for example, the suffix ina, ino, one. Ina, ino means small, one means big. So for example, sorellina means little sister, fratellone means big brother. These words always keep the article. So for example, you say la mia sorellina, my little sister, il tuo fratellone, your big brother. And the same thing happens when you talk about former relationship, such as ex-husband or ex-wife. So in both cases, you must use the article. La mia ex-moglie, my ex-wife, il tuo ex-marito, your ex-husband. And you must also use the article when referring to people who are family related, but more in a formal or social sense, such as fidanzato, il mio fidanzato, or parente, that means relative, il mio parente, and even when you use the word famiglia, la mia famiglia. So remember to use the article. Now, loro works in a different way. You must always use the article with loro, even with singular family nouns. For example, you always say la loro zia, their aunt, il loro cugino, their cousin. With loro, you do not remove the article. Here is a cool little cultural note. Italians often use possessive phrases in a very warm and natural way. Instead of saying I miei genitori, my parents, every time, they often just say I miei, literally mine, my ones. Similarly, they say I tuoi, your ones, to mean your parents. Because genitori, parents, is masculine and plural, the possessive also takes the masculine plural form. So, I miei, I tuoi, I suoi. And now is your turn. Take a minute to think it over and fill in the blanks with the correct possessive and definite article when needed. Pause the video and complete the sentences. Then check your answers.